Good morning, everyone.
Good
Welcome to
morning.
Activities. Good morning, to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. We are proud to offer this series with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and the United Way of Tarrant County. God bless them. These programs are recorded, some of them, except for Texas Winds, and some are made available for viewing through a YouTube channel for future use. I am Martha Brown, your host for today's activities. We are presenting today Peggy Spear, who is bringing us flowers. Flowers from the Amon Carter Museum of American Art. I can't wait, and I don't know what she's got, but whatever it is, it's better than looking at the inside of my apartment. Peggy, show us some flowers.
Thank you for that intro, Martha.
You're welcome.
All right. Here we go. So you're probably thinking we're going to see bright and colorful. No, instead I went all
right.
Keeping you on your toes. Yeah, and of course, what I do is it's like each thing, it's like I learn along the way. I pick my theme a month or two in advance. Then I start pulling images, which who knows what I'm going to pull until I start going on the database. And then I research what I've pulled. I could not find the artworks I pulled are like, there's so few things that I could find on any of these artworks. So we're going to talk a lot about our feelings and impressions of things today, instead of me just telling you art historical facts. So this is our first flower for the day. What flower are you seeing?
Orchid.
Iris.
Iris.
Yes.
Iris.
I know Yetta has some opinions about abstract. How are we feeling about this one, Yetta?
This is a little better because I can
Yes.
actually see what it is.
Yes.
Yes.
And I find it's interesting because I have a feeling it's just letters
Yep.
that he's using and then skipping, to make the black and white.
Yeah,
image.
he was an LA based pop artist, so it kind of has some of that pop feeling to it. Very minimal but intense focus on one thing, and those lines play into some of that pop feel, that graphicness that pop art also has. So he is using a line. This is a lithograph. He was at the Tamarind Institute when he did this, the Tamarind workshop, that print workshop in LA. So he typically he would do motorcycle things and like car related when he was working in sculpture and painting. Again, the Tamarind was inviting people who were famous for other art mediums to then practice their art in a different medium. So this is kind of deviating from what he would typically do. I could not find anything on why it's called Players Dracula Novino. I could not.
That's basically Players Dracula number 9.
So yeah, I think he did. There's a number of plates he did. I want to say he maybe only did 9 or 10 impressions that were all.
I just looked up Novino.
Okay, so it means 9. But I don't know why it's Players Dracula. I could not find what that meant. And this size of it, it's cute. It's 5 by 5.
Wow.
That's small.
Yeah.
5 by 5 inches.
Yes. Ooh, so don't look at that one.
Okay. Don't look
I
at
didn't see
what.
anything.
Go back
Don't look
to
at
time.
what.
So yeah, I mean, he did a number of these flowers. They weren't all irises, but he did a number of flowers in this particular series. I mean, it's sweet. Do you guys like this or not?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I see kind of like one side being good and one side being bad, evil.
An evil iris.
An evil iris. The black one, I'd say black one on the white paper is the evil one.
Does it feel dainty to you, or does it feel heavy to you? What?
It doesn't feel heavy. It just feels like I don't. And I probably reading too much into this abstract thing, but it just feels like it's they're doing a presentation of good and bad, and
Okay.
it doesn't feel heavy or light. It just is, it's neutral.
Yeah,
No, the black, is that just lines that he has drawn or?
yes.
Okay,
So he's drawing it on a lithographic stone. So this is a print. So someone else is
Okay.
printing it for him. It's not pencil lines or anything like that. It's something he had carved or put down on the lithographic stone with the
Mhm.
pigment, and then it was printed. But it feels as though it were almost hand drawn.
It
Yeah.
does.
Mhm.
You
So,
said this is a stone?
Lithograph is printed on a stone.
I'm sure you told us about that, but I forgot that.
Yeah, so it's a big old heavy stone, and that's why so many artists were invited to this studio, because this type of equipment is not something you would just have laying around your apartment. You would need like a full-blown studio to really utilize the equipment.
I guess not.
And it wasn't a medium that a lot of people were practicing, so to have that heavy medium, it's expensive and heavy. It wasn't always practical for artists to have that material just for themselves.
But what happens to the lithograph stones once they're done with them?
They wipe them down.
They wipe them down. Oh, I thought
Yeah.
they just threw them
Like
away, broke them or
sand 'em?
something.
Like maybe
Like what?
sand them down?
No, it's not carved in. It's a printing process. So they're using touche. It's a like kind of like an oil, and they're painting on the actual stone. I believe that's how it works. They're not actually carving in.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
So it's something it's slathered onto the stone and the art is going onto the slather.
Mhm.
I mean, excuse my words, but
Yeah, the real technical words are slather and
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say,
then-
I
and
love
that's-
it when you talk scientific. Mark.
I know, really. The lithographic process is actually one of the more confusing processes to explain. Whenever it's sand cast and lost wax sculpture and lithograph are like three of the hardest ones in my mind to try to
Okay.
explain. But with the lithograph, so there's the artist who's working directly on the lithographic stone, creating that image. And then there are printers who are going in and making sure that that paper lines up perfectly, and that when it's rolled on and the image is transferred, there are people who are very skilled at then doing that transfer and lifting it up. So this is just as much a workshop for the artist as it was for the printer.
So do they, when they get the colors right and they print this, do they have like a color spectrum printed on the side to make sure the colors match, or is it just?
I'm
just
not
on the paper?
exactly sure, and I think it changes from artist to artist. So
Okay,
I don't know
okay.
exactly the intricacies of that.
Yeah, okay.
But some of the artists would be working in the same color palette that their oil paintings or sculptures would be in. So to see some of those transfers are really cool. And then sometimes people were totally experimental and viewed this as an experiment, new medium, new content. All right, so we're going to leave this simple little iris to another tamarin print entitled Wallflowers.
I love it.
You do?
Yes.
So we see one potted, it kind of looks just like either a daisy or a sunflower in the center.
Mhm.
And then it almost looks like wallpaper to me.
Mhm.
But are some people seeing it as floating flowers in space?
No, I
I
kind of see
see
those
it.
wallpaper
I see it as bubbles that
bubbles.
the flower is giving off bubbles.
How cheery.
Well, if you look at the bubbles, they're little flowers too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they could be part of, it's kind of like the mama and all the babies, or like one of those things that you blow and the seeds go everywhere.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Dandelion.
Oh,
Dandelion, thank you.
That's a sweet thought. So Yetta, you were talking about lines in the last one. This one, it at first glance, it looks like shading, as if
Mhm.
the shading were done. This artist is using tiny lines
Mm.
and dots to create that shading effect. So it's, if you're zooming in kind of like Yetta's doing, you can see like maybe around some of the flowers, it's little lines, like almost like little hair coming off of the
Mhm.
flower. Or
Mhm.
down in here, it almost looks like it's an etched thing because it's a bunch of lines. It's not that smooth shading you might see with a pencil or something
yeah.
like that. So it gives it a little more texture to me. I mean, do you guys, now that you see that, noticing
Yeah.
that, do you, it gives it a little more depth or I don't know, grittiness to it.
So I kind of see Martha's point of view about bubbles. It looks like they're kind of rising up out of the ground and changing as they go up.
Does that make it happier for you, Don, when you see that?
No.
No, okay.
I
Never
think it would
mind.
be happier if it was in color.
Yes.
Oh, get it, yes.
What color would you make it?
I would make it yellow
Oh.
and brown and red, you
Mhm.
know, just bring flower colors.
Yeah.
Oh, just making it colorful.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would totally change the feel of this artwork if it were the bright colors. I mean, and this one too, I don't know, I like it in black and white. If it were purple and white, it would feel like it was vibrating or shade. I don't know, it would lose
Yes.
some
Mhm.
of that, the essence of whatever this was.
Yeah.
But this one, if it were, these are bright, happy sunflowers on the wall, how
Yep.
how cheerful.
Mhm. Yep, I like them.
So would you know anything about this guy, Greg Mazarski?
All I have about him is that he was a Bronx, New York guy, and he went out to LA for, he was invited to work at the Tamarind workshop. Don't know much about him. I could not find much about him. He's still living too, I believe.
He is. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Go artist.
Man. You know, he's kind of old.
Right.
He's born in 69. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I think he was born in, if I'm remembering correctly, I think he was born in 49.
49. Okay. Yeah. Boy,
If
he is
I'm
really
remembering
old. Yeah.
correctly. Okay, so
I'm
now,
not really
Thanks,
old,
Don.
just a couple of years older than
yeah, he's not much older. My mom was born in 52, so he's just right around her age. too.
so was I. So just my brother was from 49 or is from 49.
Oh,
so
okay.
not old at all.
Not old at all. A young
Youngsters.
70s.
Youngsters.
Don.
Youngsters, yeah.
Youngsters.
Excuse me for my faux pas.
Okay. Old age
You
is
know you're
always.
a young one, Don.
Yeah, we were born in 57, so that's only
Yeah.
5 years difference.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. But 5 and 3, that's 8 years from this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if he's still creating, but I'm pretty sure he's still alive.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, yay.
So now we're totally rooted in reality, and we are looking at this is a negative. This isn't actually a printed photograph. So it's a bitty little guy
Mm.
of a photograph of poppies.
Oh, my goodness. So they're dark red in reality.
Well, they can be a variety of colors.
Okay.
So they can be white, red, yellow, orange. They come in the whole rainbow of colors.
I did not know.
And what's interesting, I just last year, there's a friend of mine in town she quit her day job to become a florist and like has a whole farm, flower farm and bee hive and the whole bit. It's very cool that she quit and did this. And so last year she was selling poppies when they had bloomed. And so she gave me the bouquet and they were all black at the bottom. And like as if they had been burned. And I was like, okay. So I like snipped them. She didn't. And then later she's like, oh, I meant to tell you, don't snip the black off when you pick poppies. If you sear them at the edge, they live longer.
Oh, really?
So there I was like pulling each one out of the water, like drying it off and searing that edge. I mean, I had like 20 poppies, but there were a couple I didn't end up searing and they did not live as long as the other ones. So if you ever get poppies, burn the bottoms of them.
The bottom of the stem.
Yeah.
Good to know. Because usually you trim them off to put them in your own pot.
That's exactly what I did.
Oh, thank you.
Really?
That's fascinating to me that that's a negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of see, like, you can see the backwards letters from the roll of film. You can see a thumbprint,
Yeah.
Oh.
and then you can see some scratching. So this probably isn't the best. It probably wouldn't have produced the most beautiful image once it was transferred to paper, but it's such a beautiful image, flaws aside.
Now, flaws make it wonderful.
And this particular photographer, we've looked at some of her work before. She was very interested in light. And so, and she did a lot of experimental photography. This is not one of those. She took photographs of a lot of different things. But you can see she is working with light in that there seems to be a light source. Can you tell which side it's coming from?
It's coming from
Looks like curtains.
Sort of from the back.
the back. Yeah,
Back.
back. Yeah.
And
Little
you can
bit.
see the shadow coming out towards the right.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It looks like this is probably on a side table or an end table.
Okay, so if that's a shadow in the negative, wouldn't it be bright in the print?
Oh man. You tell me, Don.
Just saying.
My brain did a loop. You tell me.
We insist on having fun, Peggy.
Whew. You guys, we got to keep this like not science related at all because
That's
my
right.
brain
That's okay.
does not work that way.
And we could have our thing flipped. I mean, I could have, this is my left hand. You may see it as my right hand.
That's right.
So I don't know how it
It
would have been
could be.
printed, and artists who can flip the negative to print in a certain way. So
Okay.
I cannot answer that, but
Okay.
I could not find a printed version of this in our collection. It could exist and I just didn't see it, but we because she bequested her estate, her art estate basically to us, we have everything of hers.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Letters to negatives to books, things like that.
Do you have a particular place that you purchase them at?
The poppies?
Yeah.
No, I just had a friend who was a flower farmer and she gave them to me. But
Okay.
I'm sure Trader Joe's sometimes has poppies every once in a while.
Trader Joe's. Okay.
And then I'm sure if you go to any little florist in town, you might be able to find them. But their season is right now. I think it's kind of close to end.
I want to go get some of those.
They're so cheery.
I
So,
know they are.
The Wizard of Oz used them too, and they made
Yes.
them go to sleep.
Yes, that's a different use of poppies.
Yeah, Paulette and Phil can have them a real psychedelic time, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I looked up what poppies represent, and they represent consolation, remembrance, and death.
Yes.
Hmm.
White and red poppies are typically associated with fallen soldiers or
Yes.
and you'll often, starting back since like the 12th century, poppies often appear in battlefields as a remembrance of those who had passed in that battle.
Flavor.
Hey, Peggy, where did you purchase these poppies?
These were a friend. I did not purchase these. These are photographs of a friend of the artist, but a friend in town. She has a farm right outside of town, and so she was able to give me some poppies last summer, and spring, and she didn't sell them this year. So I'm very bummed we didn't have that pop of color in our house.
I'm just wondering.
The veterans used to sell poppies,
Yes.
Yes.
artificial poppies
Veterans, yes.
on Veterans Day.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Veterans Day and Memorial Day is typically when you might see these that flower appear more because it's tied to those holidays celebrating the soldiers.
And in the UK, it's Remembrance Day.
Remembrance Day. Yeah.
And you see all of the royals wearing a poppy.
Oh.
Any particular nursery that you go to purchase your flowers?
You know what? I can't remember her name. Her name is Katie Toon, and she used to just drop them off. Woodbine Flowers is the name of her nursery.
Oh,
Is she located where though?
In Fort Worth. Well, she lives in Fort Worth. Her farm is right outside Fort Worth. And then every once in a while, she'll have pop-ups around town. She'll just have her truck and she'll be selling flowers. So you might,
Really?
yeah, you might just run into her one day. She's been kind of quiet. She used to post on social media where she was going to be, but I haven't seen it in a while. So I don't know if she's kind of taking a break.
I
from
would
those types of
like to
things.
get some of those poppies. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's a doll. She's like my age. And she and her family, I think her dad might help her, but she's just got this sweet little, she grows all sorts of stuff. And then she started raising butterflies as well.
wow.
Great.
She's really
Hmm.
cool.
Huh.
All right, we're leaving our poppies for this bird of paradise.
Bird of paradise.
Initial
Oh,
thought.
gorgeous.
Mm.
Okay, we got a gorgeous. What do other people think?
I think that, oh, go ahead, Yetta.
No, I just think it should be in colors as well. I think it looks
Well,
dead.
That's
It
what I'm
looks-
wondering. Why is it brown
dried.
instead of
It looks
dark
dry.
shades
yeah.
of gray? It looks like it's
Yes,
dried.
dried.
The bird of paradise flower is very colorful.
Very. So this is a photogravure. This would not be in color. This is taking a sepia tone picture of a very bright thing. But it was taken in 1997. Photogravures were very popular in the early 1900s. So it feels as though it's from a different time, even though it was just taken
Oh, yeah.
not that long ago, 15 years, 30, guys, math.
Mm.
Anyway,
It's 25 years.
thank you. My gosh. Thanks, Ashanti.
You're welcome.
This is again why I work in an art museum and not at a bank. Um,
So
So
what did you
these-
call this process that they did? What
Oh
is it
man,
again?
okay, so this is, we're like dealing with the tricky processes today. This is a photogravure. So it's on a copper plate, but it's the photograph itself is printed on almost like a tissue paper type of thing. It's a very work intensive process. It's very long.
Wow.
They develop the image on this almost tissue papery, and then the tissue paper is then laid on the copper. And so the copper is kind of what's coming through.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So and then it's also done in this pictorialism style, which is a style that was invented in the early 1900s when it was really trying to make photography an art, not a form of documentation. It was meant to be treated like painting in that it was just as equal or just as
Yeah.
beautiful and creative.
Yeah.
That was really, pictorialism is one of those movements that has been used so long. It never has, it's, maybe fallen out of vogue in certain ways, but it's still a practice that's used very commonly. And so here it's that softening of the edges. It's really trying to give you the essence of that object, not if it were a scientific photograph, it would be very hard edges. It would be in color. It would be a very different vibe than this kind of dreamlike, flowery depiction of the flower.
Now I know what it reminds me of.
Tell
What's
me.
that?
Dried corn husks.
Yes.
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 Yeah. So this, are you guys birds of paradise people? Do you know much about it? Don and Myra?
I would buy them if they were
Yeah,
available.
pretty.
I think they're gorgeous.
Yeah. They're originally from South Africa. They grow in tropical weather, and then can grow indoors if you kept the temperature correct. And it's sometimes called a crane flower because it looks like the bird
Mhm.
looking up.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you put it in context, back in the early 1900s, there wasn't a lot of, I don't know if they had really a lot of color or black and white photography on film photography.
They did not.
It was a lot of copper plates and silver plate and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Am I right?
You are, but this was taken in 1997. So he,
Right.
I'm watching.
yeah. So this is feels of a different time, and
Okay.
of
Okay.
a time when there was not color photography. You are exactly correct.
Okay. I got it.
All right, and we're gonna do one more because it wouldn't be a session without our friend Elliot Porter.
Elliot Porter, yes.
And so I, instead of going flowers, because his colors are too pretty to do flowers, I just grabbed a picture of his roots. And I don't know, something, I like this picture, but it kind of grosses me out too. What do you guys think?
Well, it looks like it's dead, number one.
Yeah, I don't see any attraction to it.
You don't, Paula? I'm kind of with you. I mean, it's beautiful in that it's the lines, the composition itself, but like when you think about what it really is, I don't know, it just doesn't sit with me.
It looks like something you could chop off and then you have a sculpture inside your house.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
that could
yeah.
be.
So this was taken down or up in Maine, where he and his family have their summer home. They own an island right off the coast of Maine. And so
Wow.
it's weathered roots. So, I mean, now that, you probably saw the title, but it does have that very beechwoody effect. And he would often get up and swim in the bay in the morning and then just kind of hang out on the beach. So, that this could have been like, now that maybe a little more context, it's like, oh, that could be broken shells and stuff right up against a beach. Maybe the water during certain tides might come up.
Yeah.
And hit it.
It looks like it might be damp below it all, so maybe
Down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does have that kind of like dampy, murky feel to
Shiny.
it.
Yeah.
But this, you do get the sense that it is drier than all get out. I mean, it is just
Yeah.
Yes.
dead wood.
It reminds me of people who grow their nails out too long.
Oh,
Ooh,
maybe that's
gross.
why I don't like it, Martha. I think that might be it. Yeah, they're starting to curl, like right here.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
That's too long.
Too long. Yeah, time to cut your nails. A couple of, I guess now it's almost been a year ago, we partnered with the Botanic Research Institute of Texas, right across the way from the museum. And one of the botanists there did a quick 1-minute video about her focus on studying roots. So I have a short little video. I don't think I have it closed captioned, but you should be able to hear the sound. If you can't, just then tell me.
Okay.
People sometimes ask as a plant scientist what my favorite part of the plant is. Is it a flower? Is it the leaves? Now I like what's in the ground. Let's talk about roots. Roots are a super important part of the plant. Roots do 3 main things. 1, they absorb water and nutrients from the ground. Plants don't drink from their leaves, they drink from the roots. 2, roots store energy. In some plants, they store energy, like in this carrot or this sweet potato. And 3, roots anchor a plant in the soil that provides stability, so a big tall tree won't blow down in a hard wind. Most plants like this, with very fine roots, and on top of those fine roots, you have little tiny hairs growing out, and that's where all the drinking happens. Most people think that big trees like this just have deep roots that go down and take water, but they have horizontal roots, those fine roots I was talking about, in the first 12 inches of the soil that run all the way out to here. So the next time you're thinking about plants, don't forget to think about roots. There's a whole world beneath your feet.
So
That's
just
good.
a fun little quick little minute about roots, just as important as the beautiful plants. But okay, so one, I hated that I disappointed, or we were expecting probably bright flowers, and I just really brought the mood down with some gray and white and black. But next week we are back with the theme looks familiar, which is basically appropriation. So we're going to be talking about kind of like the sunmaid that we saw a couple weeks ago.
Oh, good.
Talking about things that are appropriated and used in a way that was not the initial intent.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
That'll be fun.
yeah, I'm hoping I can find artworks now that I said that. So anyway, we will, I guess I'll see y'all next week then.
Right.
That's right.
Yes.
We will be there.
And
And
Martha,
for-
I'll see you in 30 minutes.
Yes, you will. I'll see you at 11:30, Miss Peggy.
Bye, y'all. Be
That's
good.
right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Peggy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Peggy.
Bye.
Thank you, Peggy. Well, just so that we can make that official, Peggy is doing flowers for all 3 presentations today, 10:30, 11:30, and 1:30. Tomorrow, Thursday, TCU Frog Bingo.
Whoopee.
And if you like TCU Frog Bingo, you get 3 chances to do that because it's 10:30, 11:30, and 1:30.
All right.
Yay.